I never thought I'd be making one of these videos, but here I am. I wanted to do this video as kind of a introductory to me. If you've been following my Living Whole Food Plant-Based page for a while now, you have known I've shared just about everything there is to share about my plant-based lifestyle online, other than me. I figured I'd better kind of do a video so you could get to know who I actually am, especially since this year I want to start a local support group for plant-based eating, and I thought it would probably be a good idea if they knew who was doing it. Many years ago, I found a vegan tag on YouTube, and I thought, well, that doesn't really fit me because I'm not vegan, but I could change it to make it whole food plant-based. And so I've had the list for a while, and I thought that would be a perfect introductory story. This is me. So what I'm going to do is I have a whole list of questions over here on my screen, and I will also include these questions down below in the description, so it would be really cool if you guys jumped in and answered the questions too. And if you do a video of it, be sure that you tag me in that video also, because I'd love to see you and meet you. But yeah, that's what kind of got me motivated to do this, was the fact that I would really like to start a local support group. And I feel like the easiest way to talk people into coming is to, well, that or forewarn them of what they're getting into, is by answering some questions and kind of letting you get to know me. The first question is really a simple one, but it's name. My name is Felicia Smith. I am happily married for almost 30 years to my husband Dale, and I have one son, Joshua. I'm in my 50s. I just turned 51 in March, and my husband's older than I am by about 8 years, and we had Joshua late, so he's only 22, and we did this as a family, and so it's been really a nice adventure. We live in the next question is, where are you from? We live in Billings, Montana. Beef country. I think we rival Texas in beef. Yeah, it's a struggle. But yeah, I'm from Billings, Montana, and actually my area is probably the least open to plant-based and vegan eating of the state, by what I see online and what I've talked to other people about. There are several areas, Missoula, Kalispell, the northern parts, even Bozeman is way more open. They have way more options. There's winter farming, even though it's really winter. In fact, there's like a foot of snow outside right now here in Billings. There's feet in Bozeman. But Billings really doesn't have that kind of open community for different styles of people, if you will. At least it doesn't feel like it to me, because there's very few vegan options unless you consider a salad at your local restaurant to be vegan. Whole food, that people are like, what? And so we do have a small group of people here, but I'm hoping to make it a big group of people. But there's only one place that I know of that does like winter farming, so there's really hard to get access to really nice produce here. And so I'm hoping that as the group comes together, that we can help each other with, solutions to the problems our area has with providing an easy and comfortable place for plant-based eaters to live. And so, yep, I'm from Billings. Next question is, how long have you been whole food plant-based? As of the 21st of February, my whole family has been plant-based, whole food plant-based, no oil, since February 21st of 2015, I think. It was 7 years. We just had our 7 years. And so, yeah, it's hard to believe that much time has gone by. It started out as a food adventure, and it's still going. I still haven't even begun to tap in the vastness of what this lifestyle is, and it's just changed so much, and it's really our new normal. And I can't imagine going back. It seems like a lot of work to live the old way now, and a lot more expensive than it is now, especially in today's day and age with the price of everything being crazy. This is a much more affordable lifestyle. Okay, next question. Why did you start eating whole food plant-based? Well, kind of a couple of things, but the years leading up to us making the switch had seen my husband, as it happens, his health declined. He was morbidly obese, and he had several health problems, the normal standard chronic health problems. He had been going into the doctor, and it was that, we started out with a little high blood pressure, so we had one pill, and then a little higher blood pressure, and we had another pill, and high cholesterol, another pill to that. And in the 2015 or so, he came home from his last doctor's appointment, and he said, they say I'm pre-diabetic, and I'm going to have to start doing this medication, and also my cholesterol numbers are wrong, and I've got to add this. And one of the biggest problems he had about all of these things was he hated taking the pills, but his doctor had said what we all knew, right? That he's in his 50s, he's a man, he's overweight. This is normal. This is life. This is how it is. You're starting to fall apart, because apparently in our 50s we down the hill. And his doctor told him flat out, between heredity and lifestyle and all of this, this is just the way it is. That he needed to just buckle up, because this was his future. It was normal. That's what it was. And honestly, hopeless. There was a lot of hopelessness in it. Like, we had no power to fix it. This is just this is what everybody does. This is how it works. This is what you do when you turn 50. And so I think we just accepted it. He was on medication. I can't even tell you the names of them. I don't think he could even tell you the names of them, because at some point you trust the doctors. They're taking care of you. They're going to help you. They're going to make you live, all this stuff. So we never even, and who can read the pamphlets that come with this stuff, right? I mean, I can barely read now with my glasses on. So it's like you trusted them. We trusted them to point us in the right direction. It's our doctor. He's a professional. And so we just got used to this being our new normal, pills and that, and over the years we tried to lose weight, and the doctors had said, if you lose a little weight, it'll help, kind of thing. But pretty much that was what our future was. He was headed into getting medications for diabetes. One more thing to add to the list. Great. I'm slowly panicking as we get older, because again, I mentioned he's 8 years older than I am. I'm like, wait a minute, he's 50, I'm 40. I want to be by myself. What do I do? Be sure you take the medicine. And be sure you ask your doctor all of these questions, and all that kind of stuff, thinking I was doing all the right things as the wife, I'm here for you. I'll help you, And reality was there was nothing. There was nothing. There was nothing he could ask. There was nothing he could say. It was the progression of what us in America, at the very least, this is what we do when we hit 50 and earlier now. But one night, one of my favorite things to watch, Food Network. I like to watch the cooking shows on Netflix. I had stumbled across a Michael Pollan video in the defense of food, but it really wasn't talking about a whole food plant-based diet in the sense of health. It was more like just talking about how, this is what we need to do for our planet and our life. And it was kind of interesting. But mostly I like the cooking shows. It's like, what ways could I cook that steak? How could I prepare my seafood and all the amazing cheese recipes, and oh my gosh, all of it. I wanted all of it. And Bobby Flay and the whole ball of wax. And so one night I was watching Netflix and I was looking for the next show, and up came Forks Over Knives, and I thought, all right, another cooking show, because it actually shows up under when you typed in cooking. It showed up, I'm assuming because of the title. And so it was really funny because I clicked on it and I'm just watching along, doing my other stuff, and I got to listening to it, and I'm like, this isn't a cooking show. And what did he just say about we don't need to be sick? And then so I rewind it, because I just listened with it in the background, and I sat there and I watched that whole film with my jaw on the floor. And there were so many emotions after I watched it. There was shock, there was anger, there was hope. And so that night when my husband got home from work, I said, we're gonna have dinner in front of the computer together, because I want you to watch this movie. And so we watched this movie, and I didn't tell him anything about it. I said, we really have to watch this. And so about halfway through it, you could just see his whole demeanor going, what? And then Dr. Esselstyn came on, and he said that, that heart disease is, like a paper tiger. We never have to deal with it. We don't have to deal with heart disease. You can reverse it. You can make it go away. You don't want to take those pills? Don't take them. And Dr. Campbell was like, cancer, on off switch, and there was so much in that movie. And we've watched it a dozen times since then, and we still see new things or reiterate. But anyways, he watched the Dr. Esselstyn part of it, and he looked at me and he goes, 30 days, let's do it. And before the video was even done, he's sitting down here watching the movie, and I'm upstairs chucking stuff out of the refrigerator. The video gets over, and he comes up and he's holding the garbage bag. We're just chucking it, and I told him, I'm like, we're not even giving this stuff away. We're not going to kill our friends. We're not going to kill our family with this stuff. It's crap. You open the freezer, we were pulling out bags of chicken wings, because all we lived on was chicken wings and fast food. I mean, every fast food restaurant knew our name and our order. That's not something to be proud of. And he was just like, 30 days, we're going to do it. And I never thought, you watch these things and you think, well, okay, and I was so focused on the fact that I was going to, I had a solution for him. I could help him. I could save him. I could make him live to be 1,000. And so we were all in. And this is our house. As James Cameron said on Eating to Live, our house is not a democracy, and Joshua just got to eat what we fed him. He's more than welcome to, at the time, get a job, move out, and eat his own stuff. But we were doing this. But we don't function that way as a family. We do everything together. So it was okay. And by the end of 30 days, it was shocking how fast everything had changed. Shocking. First of all, it was surprising how much food there was out there. My kitchen literally had a thing of Mrs. Dash table salt. I had very few cooking instruments. I had a sheet pan, because how do you heat those tater tots up? I had aluminum lasagna pans, because you can't make tater tot casserole with cheese on it without throwaway pans. And I had one knife. It was a steak knife. We had steak knives. I didn't have a chopping knife. I had no measuring stuff, any of that kind of stuff really. There was nothing. I could fit all of my cooking utensils into a drawer, essentially. And by the end of the month, I had started to acquire, but I'm getting a little long-winded, but mostly we started because my husband and his health. They told us if we did this, we would change that future. And I was holding them to it. And 30 days, I made it my mission to make it fun, make it tasty, make it something that we gave our whole heart to, because I didn't want, if I had a chance to change his future and my son's future, I was going to do it. My son, we were a homeschool family. My son had, he wasn't obese or anything, but he was overweight, following the family heredity trend of gain pounds. And I had spent most of my life overweight. At my highest point, I was over 400 pounds. So we all were fighting these challenges, and I had time and time again told my husband, I said, if I could just find the door, if we could just find the door, I'll do the work to get the door open and walk through it. If somebody would just point us in a direction of something that would work and not have to be a diet and not have to be temporary and not be punishing, and something, there had to be something, but nothing ever came. And we had tried, when I say we literally have tried everything, we literally have tried everything. And there were still pills coming, and there were still medications, and it was just hopeless. So this video, once I watched Forks Over Knives, and then I found Fed Up. And then I found Hungry for Change. And then I found Food Matters. And there was no going back. 30 days in, we had already dropped a whole bunch of weight. I wasn't in pain anymore. I used to crawl to the bathroom at night to go to the bathroom because I hurt so bad I couldn't stand when I got out of bed. It would take minutes of fully waking up and trying to breathe through the pain to get to the bathroom, which, I was always tired. I didn't feel good. I had my anxiety, it just the whole ball of wax, and then my husband and his pain. And there was just so much, it was so hopeless. And by the end of 30 days, it was shell shock. Within 2 weeks, we didn't hurt anymore. Did not hurt anymore. I can remember my husband sending me a text in the morning. Did you know I don't hurt when I got up this morning? And so, I texted him back and I said, now that you say that, I don't either. By the end of the 30 days, it was like a night and day. It was really shocking. I remember about a month in, my son saying, I can think so much clearer now, because he was really good at school, but not an A student. And he was, average, that kind of stuff, but he had always struggled with an attention span and finding something interested and being challenged and stuff like that. And I always just thought that's just normal, that's the way it is. But it was like he was in a brain fog, and he graduated with straight A's. It changed his entire, he just kept saying, I can think so much better now. I don't know what it is, but I can think so much better. And the best part about it was, by the end of 30 days, we were making doctor's appointments trying to get my husband's medication changed, because he was actually having episodes of low blood pressure, and where it would be like dangerous. And his doctor, fully not on board, would be like, no, you're fine. It's fine. And finally, he called in. He says, I need to come in. This is dangerous. And they begrudgingly let him come in. We had put together all this information, because, we're going to change the world. And told him about what we were doing, because the doctor couldn't figure out why, he had lost 10, 15 pounds the first month. He goes, well, it's just because you're losing weight. And Dale's like, no, it's because we're eating differently. You've got to see this stuff. And the doctor was, no, it's heredity. You're screwed. But anyways, they did finally take his lab work and that kind of stuff. And within 6 to 8 weeks of being whole food, plant-based, he was off all medication. All medication. His doctor said, well, we're going to keep you on small amounts of all of these pills because, you know, you're going to need these. You're going to need it. This isn't going to last. You're going to need these. And we kept saying no. And then he finally got fed up with us. He said, fine, drop them. Fine, quit. You'll see. Fine, quit. Just cold turkey. Well, we didn't do that. We spent 2 weeks weaning him off all the pills. And literally by the end of the second month, he was off of all of his medications. By his next appointment, his, which was another month later, because of course to get off the pills, they would still let us have doctor's appointments. Now they shove us off on a PA, which is good because she's wonderful. By the end of, by his appointment 3 months later, everything was normal. Everything. His blood pressure was normal. His cholesterol was normal. His everything was normal. He's no longer pre-diabetic. This kind of stuff. And all his doctor could tell him is it won't last. That's it. It won't last. It won't last. And I thought, what? But you have to understand, his doctor was also that doctor who said, I'm even on Lipitor. My father died of blah, 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 and it's hereditary, so I'm even on it. That's why it's normal. No, that's why your pocket's padded. The truth of the matter is that there's no money in healthcare. There's no money in well people. There's only money in sick people. The only way for a healthcare system to survive is if you have to use it for more than birthing babies. You know, and it just... Anyways, that was what we got started. We watched Forks Over Knives, and I can tangent. I'm trying to derail myself back onto the plan, but we watched Forks Over Knives, and we've never looked back. 7 years later, we still chronic illness free, medication free, the whole works. It's been what they promised us. I held them to it, and they delivered. It was life-changing. It is life-changing. Okay, next one up. Favorite vegetable. Oh my gosh, which one do I pick? Before whole food plant-based, I can honestly say that my favorite vegetable was French fries, like McDonald's French fries covered in lots and lots of salt. That was my favorite. Wendy's French fries with lots and lots of salt. Tater tots with lots and lots of salt. But the funny thing is that still potatoes are still my favorite. Well, I like Asian greens probably the very best. Lately we've been really enjoying yu choy, which is it's mustard but it's not hot. But my favorite vegetable is a potato. Potatoes have changed my world. So, but I like mushrooms, but that's a fungus, not a tomato, or not a vegetable. I love avocados, but that's a fruit, not a vegetable. But I would have to say potatoes, but really that's going to fall under another question. So now I like everything but cilantro. Let's just put it that way. That would be the easiest way to say, what is your favorites? I like everything but cilantro. Surprise favorites, celeriac. I had no idea. Wow, the food world is amazing. I had no idea how much food was out there. I had no idea. And you walk through the grocery stores, and when you're not whole food plant-based, you walk to very specific sections of the store, because you don't need in that health food stuff. You need in the chip aisle and the prepackaged macaroni and cheese and the iceberg lettuce with ranch dressing aisle. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. I don't know what was in those aisles. I'd never been into half the other aisles in the grocery store. And vegetables, do we have to? I did like broccoli because, you know, you mix that with your beef and your teriyaki and that kind of stuff. But now, I don't... there isn't a vegetable I won't try. There isn't a vegetable that I really don't like. Again, cilantro. Not cilantro. I don't think that's a vegetable though. That's an herb. But that's probably the only thing that I just can't. But a celeriac, daikon radish. I love daikon radishes. The mixed greens. spinach is probably my least favorite thing for greens raw, but I don't mind it cooked. I love kale, all different kinds of kale. Things I never, looking back would have been like, no, Brussels sprouts, love Brussels sprouts. But we were all raised that way, if it was green, you don't eat it, and so your parents didn't have time, they just fed you whatever, and they didn't know anything about food, so it was always meat and potatoes and iceberg lettuce with ranch dressing. Or my mom used to make tacos, but it was meat, cheese, and fried whole flour tortillas, that stuff like that. When you made pizza, she would make it homemade, but it was white flour with 15 layers of cheese on it, because you don't eat food without cheese. Why would you do that? We used to go through those big bags of cheese at Sam's Club, I think they're like 3 pounds, 3 to 5 pounds, 3 pounds. They're like a pillow of cheese once a week. No joke. But it wasn't going on anything good. It was put on pasta. You didn't put vegetables in it. There was vegetables in the pasta sauce. It said so on the front, because who reads labels? But now there's no vegetable I won't try. There are very few vegetables I won't try. I am always up for a food adventure. My family's up for a food adventure. My husband was a meat and potatoes man. Like, all his mother ever made was meat, potatoes, and if there was salad, it had ranch dressing on it. But if you went over, it was ham and potatoes. Always meat. And so he was like tofu, and I liked all Asian food. My son is another eater. He's a foodie, and he liked Asian food. So for us, we adapted really easy, because I love tofu and all those kind of things. And my husband was like, and he was the main reason I tried to get creative and really get into finding things that we could eat that were familiar but different. And now he will eat everything. The most shocking thing for me is watching him put kimchi on air fried potatoes. It's like, who are you? But now he eats anything I put in front of him. There's no complaints. There's no, and so I got off topic of my favorite vegetable, but mostly it's because I can't pick a favorite. I'd have to say potatoes. But I really don't have a favorite. I love them all. I have a house full of vegetables, and there's legumes and grains and vegetables, and I like them all. All right, next one up here. I gotta get my list pulled over here. Favorite documentary. I know you would think it'd be Forks Over Knives. I do like Forks Over Knives. I think it's really good. I like a lot of them. Eating You Alive. I like Calorie Density by Jeff Novak. I like The Pleasure Trap by Dr. Lau. Those kind of things. But my number one, if you only were gonna, if I had one chance to hook you in with that shepherd's hook, kind of thing, I would say it would be How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. It's not a documentary, I guess, so much as it just hits all the buttons, whys, hows, what fors, in a funny, common sense. You laugh through the whole thing in a way that, why didn't we know this stuff? Why don't they tell us this stuff? Oh, that's right, money. But he explains how it changes a whole, your body and that kind of stuff, but it's all done in a very upbeat, fun way, and you can watch the whole thing. You're not going to sit there going, oh my God, is he ever going to stop? It's not that kind of lecture. It's really good. And so I will leave a lot of the information and links down below. You can also check around my whole food plant-based page, because I have all this listed, but I will leave links down below in the description to help you kind of get there quicker. But How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger, if you only could get your family to watch one thing, I would do that. But there's so many. I have pages of videos and lectures and documentaries to watch. I've collected, and I'm still collecting. So there's something out there for you on cancer and diabetes and heart disease and the whole ball of wax, how to deal with your family when they're like, you're out of your mind. I'm not eating grass. How do you answer that question? All you eat is grass? You know, kind of thing. But my favorite, my life changer was Forks Over Knives. But my game changer, which is another movie about it, which is worth watching, is How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. I think he puts it in a way that it doesn't matter your education, your age, your understanding. You will, by the time that you watch the whole lecture, you will understand what he's trying to get across to you and what a whole food plant-based diet will do to your health. Not what it might do, what it will do. So that would be my favorite. Let's see. Next question. Favorite doctors, experts. Well, my favorite, I have heroes. Anybody else do that? I have heroes. Like, if it wasn't for you, you changed my entire life. I have two heroes that changed my life because they changed my husband's mind in Forks Over Knives. I am a diehard Dr. Esselstyn and Dr. Campbell fan. I think they are pioneers. I think they are amazing. I think the information that they bring to it between heart disease and cancer and all of that is just jaw-dropping and eye-opening. And I think that if it hadn't been for men like them, nobody would listen. Nobody would listen. Dr. Greger, Michael Greger, is also, his nutritionalfacts.org is, the value of it is unmatched, and it's all free. It's all free. And what he brings to the community is knowledge. You have a choice. You can read. Doctors are no better than plumbers. You pay a plumber to come and take care of your plumbing problems, and if they don't do a good job, you hold them accountable for that. I don't know why we don't do that with our medical professionals. Just because they went to school does not make them infallible, and we have the right to question them. We pay them to do the job. They aren't doing it out of the kindness of their heart. We hired them to do a job, so we should be able to question them. Wait a minute, you told me I had to take this medication because blah, blah, blah. Why aren't I getting better? But we're trained. Don't ask questions. They're the professional. They know what they're doing. You are not trained in medical, therefore you're too stupid to function. Just go with it. And the truth of the matter is there's no difference between a plumber and a doctor other than years they spent in school. And the cost of getting your plumbing fixed is not much cheaper. But you would hold your accountant responsible. You would hold your plumber responsible for their work. You would hold your mechanic responsible if your car doesn't still run well down the road. So why don't we hold our doctors accountable? Why are we not doing that? We have the right to question. Just because we're not educated doesn't mean we're not educated about our own bodies. And we have the right to say, what? But what about this? But I would have to say Dr. Esselstyn, Caldwell Esselstyn, and Dr. T. Colin Campbell are easily my favorite doctors. Michael Greger, Jeff Novak, Dr. Lau, Dr. Neil Barnard. There's so many. Dr. Ornish. There's so many. There's so many. This is not a fad. This is not a diet. There are actual professional people that actually, the reason I like them so much is their whole philosophy is question it. Question it. Question it. But there's too many to list, but those are probably my top ones. All right. Just for fun, I'm going to read it off here because memorization's not my strong suit. Plus, I get off on tangents. For fun, what is your favorite whole food plant-based quote? Let's see. I have 3-ish, 4, a couple of them. If you don't take time for your wellness today, you'll be forced to take time for your illness tomorrow. If it came from a plant, eat it. If it's made in a plant, leave it. Some people think that a plant-based whole food diet is extreme. 500,000 people a year will have their chests open up, a vein taken from their leg and sewn into the coronary arteries. Some people would say that was extreme. Go Dr. Esselstyn. The food you put in your mouth can either hurt you or heal you. And when I read this morning, that while I was getting ready for this, it popped up. It says, don't let age change you. Change the way you age. That's my new favorite one. Because we have the power. We have the power to change how we age. 50 is not the downhill slope. You realize that you have a potential of 50 years left at 50? It's why when I see 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds going, oh, it's not worth it. I've already lived my life. I'm set in my ways. This is it. Wait, at 60 years old, you have a potential of 40 years left. At 70 years old, you have a potential of 30 years left. That's an adult. You know, at 80, you have a potential of 20 years left. That's your child. You raised your child in 20 years. So, yeah. So I like that quote a lot. Let's see what next one up by my list here. Is your whole family plant-based or just you? Why or why not? Have you been here long? They're plant-based because they don't want to starve. And they don't want to cook it themselves. They don't want to plan for it. And in my house, mama rules. No, the fact of the matter is that it probably would have brought my husband and I to a divorce. After I started learning, there was no going back. I was just like, you are doing this stuff. You are not going to leave me early in life because you're stubborn about food. If all of this can be changed about food, I'll make you a deal. I'll make it, you eat it. And that's how my house works. My son is a lot more adventurous, so he gets into the cooking and the food adventures and that kind of stuff, which is fine. But if you do not have your family on board, you need to take a deep look in yourself. Because would you buy alcohol for your alcoholic spouse once you knew that they're killing themselves? Would you keep buying those cigarettes for your smoking spouse when you know it's killing them? You know, would you hand your baby the spoon to stick it in the socket because you know that's wrong? You know, that's the food that you're putting in your kids' bodies. And to me, I just could not imagine being the reason my husband stayed sick and my son got sicker. I couldn't be responsible for that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't live in a house where I said, it's not okay to be sick, fat, and dying, but, you know, if you're stubborn enough, you can do whatever you want. It just doesn't work. Like I told my husband, if you love me, you will do this for me too. You should not have to face a future of your spouse's medical troubles because they're stubborn about food. That's not in the contract. That's not what you signed up for when you got married. It's not your job to enable them with bad behavior once they know what it is. It's the same with your kids. Wouldn't you want them to have a healthy future? And so my whole family does this. I will not pay for his bad health. I will not be punished for his bad health. I don't think that as one of the two of us who wants that will end up hopefully living a longer, healthier life has to put up with something due to food and stubbornness that I would have to take care of him for more years for no reason other than this. Now, things we can't avoid, I have no problem with that. I signed the paperwork, but to knowingly spend the next 30 years watching him slowly kill himself when there was a solution, no, I can't do that. And there's no way I'd set my son up for that kind of failure. And I know everybody has their own reasons. I know that I've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of people over the years of, well, you just don't understand how my spouse is. And you're right, I don't. Because if your spouse doesn't support you and doesn't want to get healthy with you at the same time, that says a lot about a lot. But for me and my family, we do this as a family. We have succeeded as a family. It's been life-changing as a family. And gosh, it's been easier as a family. Okay, next question. Oh, well, this kind of takes us back to the favorite vegetable. What is your favorite starch? Every time I talk to people about food, they tell me, oh, I miss carbohydrates because we all did the Atkins. We all did it. We all did it. And now it's what? Paleo or keto or I don't know, the more complicated they make the name, the more real it must be. Caveman diet, you know, all this kind of crap. And you can't have pasta, and you can't have bread, and you can't have potatoes, and you can't have corn, and you can't have any of these starchy vegetables because they'll make you fat. Wait a minute. There's almost no fat in potatoes. There's almost no fat in corn. There's almost no, you know, it's not high in carbohydrates in the grand scheme of it. What's the problem here? Well, it's how you cook everything, right? I mean, potatoes are harmless until you cut them into fries and dump them in the oil. But my favorite starch is a potato. It's a running joke on our page and on our Facebook group that taters for the win. My family does the Mary's Mini challenges twice a year just for fun, and it's all potatoes. The potatoes are so much more than mashed potatoes and French fries. I have made amazing things out of potatoes that I didn't know you can even do. I didn't know there was varieties of potatoes: sweet potatoes, white potatoes, red potatoes, purple potatoes, Japanese potatoes, all kinds of potatoes. There's so many different kinds of potatoes. I had no idea. And all the different things that you can make out of them, from tortillas to pancakes to bread to all kinds of stuff. So my favorite starch is potatoes. And one of the things I love about being whole food plant-based is pasta. No, carbohydrates are not the evil. It's how you eat them. So yes, eat your potatoes and your corn and all that kind of stuff, because we succeed because of potatoes. I always have a great big tub of steamed potatoes, and they are a staple. They get you to that next meal when you get home, and you're like, your brain is like, I'm too hungry. I'm gonna get drive-through on the way home because I'm too hungry. I'm too tired to cook. I just don't want to. What that is really telling you is that you got too low on your fuel, and now you have no fuel. And even though you could stop at a drive-through restaurant, it's not going to fuel you for very long. Why not have potatoes ready to go? By the time you get home, nuke them for 30 seconds and throw some mustard on them. It will re-energize you, and you'll be ready to cook an actual good meal. Or if you do meal planning and batch cooking and stuff, you should already have something at home to eat. But potatoes are always in our refrigerator, pre-cooked. We always have raw in the pantry. We always have several kinds, and they are staples in our house. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, next up. Are you tired yet? Are you done yet? I'm only halfway. I probably should have not had so many questions, but whatever. Maybe I'll break it into two. We'll see. Okay, anyways, number 11. Do you let certain things slide from time to time? I have said repeatedly that we are 99% whole food plant-based. And I say that in the idea of that I try to do the best that I can in the situation that I'm in. I don't bring it home. It's really hard to avoid oils, that kind of stuff when you are traveling or when you're eating out. Sometimes I want to just eat out and not worry about it. I don't think I let anything slide. I don't think we let anything slide, because that implies that we're on a diet. And so it's like you need to be punished if you fall off with something. And I don't feel like that. I feel like in this life, like if for some reason I magically got enough money together to make it to a trip to Japan, you can bet if I make it to Japan, I'm eating my way across those islands. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's plant-based. I don't care if it's whole food, because it would be a once in a lifetime experience. And so for me, I'd eat it. Dr. Popper said one day, if somebody puts chocolate in front of her, she's going to eat it. You're going to eat it. And I agree with her. I don't buy it. I also try not to buy vegan foods. But I will say that every time I find a new vegan food, we always buy it once, because it's called Food Adventure, and we do, it's fun. You get to try something. But odds are normally I'm like, I can make this better. We just a couple of weeks ago, ate out at a new Mediterranean restaurant type thing here, and they had 5 or 6 vegan options. We were like, yeah, you know, they had oil, but it was like, hey, look, it's an option, right? And it came, and it was like these little tiny bowls and this little tiny sandwich thing, and it was $60 later, and it was, we could have put everything that we ordered. I ordered 4 of the 5 options that they had, and we could have put all that on one plate for my son. That's how much it was. It was just, and so I'm always constantly reminded that fast doesn't necessarily mean better. It's for sure more expensive. But I don't know. It would depend on the situation, but we don't, you know, I get a slice of cake for my birthday, and I don't worry about whether it's whole food, plant-based or not. But I don't bring it, we don't, it's not, it's life. I don't know how else to explain it. Sliding or falling off is diet talk, and, you know, okay, I had my piece of cake for my birthday, but then my dinner was, you know, my clam chowder that I love that's not really got clams in it, you know. And so I don't see, if you start looking at things like bad and good in the sense of punishment or reward, you are putting food in a place, it really gets you in trouble. And for me, I think, did you enjoy that life? Was that moment you lived worth what you ate? And if it was, then enjoy it. Do I think that we should, you know, stop at the gas station to get fuel and buy jerky on the way by, which is something I miss terribly? No. But I also think that we're gaining our health and our mobility and our feel good in this lifestyle so that we can go out and live more. So I don't think we should pass up any opportunity. But do I think it should be a staple normal in your life to eat non-whole food plant-based? No. But I would say we are easily 98 to 99% whole food plant-based. And when you think about the fact that that's 3 meals a day plus snacks, you know, that's not very much. It's okay. But Dr. Esselstyn has a quote about nuts at Christmas time. You know, if you put that bowl out there, everybody's going, you know, if you say you can have 2 nuts, then next week is going to be 4 nuts, and then next week after that it's going to be 8 nuts. And I agree with that philosophy, because I think once you say, you make up your excuses, you'll follow through on your excuse. But I also think that you should be out there living your life. I don't think this has to be a line in the sand where you're successful or you're a failure. But I think it all depends on your health goals. And if your health goals are, you don't want to get to them as fast as you could, then, you know, maybe McDonald's is in your thing. Although I highly recommend you watch the documentaries on their food. What they make, the potatoes, what they do to their potatoes and their French fries alone will make you never want to eat them again. I had no idea. But anyway, so I would say, do I slide from time to time? No. Do I have specific instances in life where we eat non-whole food plant-based? Yes. But they are usually outliving that life. It never comes home. All right. How do you feel about vegan faux foods, fake foods, that kind of stuff? Honestly, they're junk. I'll be wholeheartedly honest on it. I think they're garbage. I think that they're incredibly expensive, and I think that most of them are made with products that are not that much better than animal products. Yes, they're convenient. Grab it and go, but you know, you get a bag of these chickless nuggets kind of thing, and it's like $30 for a bag. Okay, it's a little extreme, but they're really expensive, and you get like four little nuggets in there, you know. Or you buy the yogurt or the cream, the cheeses and that kind of stuff, and it's like solid nuts, and they're like 4 ounces for $8, $10. I'm like, do you know what you can make at home to do that? And then there's almost always, you have to excuse me, my nose is driving me nuts. I don't know what it is about talking. But anyways, there's always the shortcuts to health are not shortcuts. They're long cuts. Also, if you are a standard American diet eater, and you're trying to break old habits, you're trying to become healthier, you're trying to get away from those things that are making you sick, like cheese and meat and dairy and that kind of stuff, you are not making the process easier. I know this word out there is transition. I call it excuses. The reason I say that is the fact that, okay, you're breaking the habit of this cheese and this meat product, steak or whatever, but you're replacing it with not a much better health-wise option of this fake thing or that fake thing loaded with whatever's in it. Okay, yay, the cow lived, but you're still dying. So now on top of you've moved from these habits, now you've got new habits. Now we've got to break those habits and move on to the next one. Why not just skip the middle habit and go right into the whole food plant-based? There is almost literally nothing you can't sub out or dupe out on a whole food plant-based diet. And I even mean like deli meats and cheeses and all this kind of stuff that you can make at home that isn't loaded in oil, isn't loaded in mysterious single ingredients like pea proteins and stuff like that, that taste amazing. So I've tried them. I won't, I'm not going to deny it that I've tried probably everything we've run across, mostly because curiosity killed the cat. I don't really ever try anything thinking this is going to be a new staple in our pantry. I always just try it as it's a food adventure because it's loaded with crap. So why would I keep eating it? But it's fun. But I also consider it no different than the standard American diet. I think there are options out there, but I think for the most part, it's not worth your money. If nothing else, we're a health poor country and we're a money poor country. Everybody complains that they're broke. Well, don't buy this shit. I mean, it's all very, very expensive. Now, it's very, very expensive, if nothing else, to your health and to your life. So, yes, I have eaten it. I've probably tried just about anything that we've come across. I have not tried the Beyond Burgers and that stuff. Have you read the ingredients labels on those? I can't even get past that one. But in general, I've tried it, but we don't eat them. We don't use them in the house. I make yogurt. I make cheese. I make what I make because I can make for that $8 for that little tub of cheese spread. I can make a bowl this big. So no, I don't. I buy it, but I don't live on it, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, let's see. Next one. Okay, next one. What do you do about the holidays? We celebrate them. One of the best things we ever decided early on was that I was going to find ways of making the holidays still be based around food because I'm American. We do everything for food. And so I set out to figure out how to make sticky buns and chocolate chip cookies and I can't make a ham. I have tried making a ham. That recipe was a fail. I've made brisket. I have made barbecue. I have made meatloaf. We now eat meatloaf for Thanksgiving instead of turkey, which is good for me because the funniest thing when I ever hear people say, yeah, I struggle, what do you do about the turkey? And I always ask them, okay, back up here. What is your favorite thing about eating at Thanksgiving besides being able to eat till you pass out? It's always a side. Oh, I like the stuffing. I like the gravy. I like the mashed potatoes. Rarely does anybody goes, that turkey, mwah, that was to die for. They always go, no, I like the cranberry sauce, and they slather it all over that turkey. So I always say, if it wasn't your favorite thing, why not replace it anyways, And I actually think holidays are a huge opportunity for you to knock your family's socks off with new foods, because you can make an amazing bowl of mashed potatoes that taste rich and decadent and creamy and buttery and that kind of stuff, and it not have a single animal product in it, and nobody will know. Gravy, you make all kinds of gravies, nobody will know. And my advice for the holidays is use it as a chance to shock your family. Don't tell them, say, I'm gonna bring the green bean casserole this year. And even if you still put the crunchy onions on top of it, everything else will be still whole food plant-based. And, but I say celebrate it. Find a way to make those die-hard family recipes whole food plant-based, or at least at the very least plant-based, the best you can do, because it is the holidays. This is your 1%, right? But we don't hide. I don't care what my family thinks. Well, I don't, that's a whole other tangent. We don't do family on that level, but I don't care what people think about how I eat. You can play the tie-dyed thing. You can play the, oh, that's gross, that's tree hugging thing and all that. But the reality is that I'm pretty sure I could shock you with the food. I'm pretty sure I can get you through an entire dinner of whole food plant-based and you wouldn't even realize it was animal product free. And so I take it as a personal challenge. I'm going to make you try it and you're going to like it. I'll take the challenge. I will make it taste good and I'll bet you like it. So the holidays, we do the old standbys. You know, Santa Claus comes with the hot cocoa and the carrots for the reindeer. Santa Claus actually lives 3 houses down from us. I kid you not. He came every year as he went to the hospital to visit the sick kids. But yeah, Santa Claus. And he got cookies and milk. And this year, my son's 22 and he will still get cookies and milk and hot chocolate. And like I said, sticky buns have to happen, and snickerdoodles and mashed potatoes and gravy and green bean casserole and buns with butter, not real butter, but it tastes like butter, you know. But so yeah, we celebrate it. Holidays, why not? Why not? There is a recipe out there to convert whatever you do, or there's somebody that will help you convert it. Reach out, try it. You know, I know a lot of the gurus say, you know, make your holidays about more than food. Change what you focus on your holidays. Dude, I don't know about you, but the holidays are food. That's a fun part, you know. So I'd rather just change what we eat and what our new traditions are. How fun is it that for the first time in your life, you get to make your own traditions. You get to take family traditions and turn them into your traditions. I take it as a challenge and I think it's fun. We celebrate them with food. Lots of food. All right, next question. What is the one thing you make now that you would have never made before? Oh my God. The list would be easier to say, what did you always used to make that you never would make again? I don't even know where to start with that. Chickpeas. Did you know you can make cookies out of chickpeas? Did you know you can make cookies out of bean water? Aquafaba. Everything I make is something I would have never made before. Anything that has greens in it. We made sushi just the other day and it was yu choy with shiitake mushrooms and onions and brown rice. What? It wasn't minute rice? Everything. Every single trip to town is a food adventure. Every new recipe is a food adventure. Everything we make is something I would have never made before. We literally lived on takeout, frozen foods that you heated up in the oven, and that was pretty much it. Casseroles with cheese. I mean, everything we eat now is something I would have never eaten before. And I had no idea how much food was out there. I had no idea. Those aisles that I would never have gone down because, health aisles. They're not health aisles, they're adventure aisles. All of these weird and unique and new things are down these aisles that we were programmed. Don't go down there. There's no chips. I make an awesome lime chili tortilla chip. I never would have thought about making my own chips. I've made pasta. I never would have thought that. I can bake my own bread now. Nope, never would have made that before. It's never ending. It's never ending on how much that I can do. I never had any cooking. Listen. While all these girls were taking home ec, I was in a shop learning automotive. I can rebuild an engine and train your horses. Cooking? Skills in the kitchen? Not at all. I had nothing. I wasn't prepared at home. When I went to college, I didn't even know how to do my own laundry. So we're talking learning curve. And now, so everything before was something we wouldn't have eaten before. And now there's nothing we won't try. Nothing. And weirder the better. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here, and I am gonna give you guys a break from this, and I will put the second half of the questions in another video, and that way you can, you know, you can watch them at your leisure instead of one long, great big one. I'm not even sure I can get a long, great big one uploaded to Facebook, so it may not even matter. But this is going to be the end of part 1. I'll have a part 2 coming up. I'm going to film it right after this. I'm just going to break the video off here. And if you have any comments or questions or any of that kind of stuff, please leave a comment below. And I will also have the list of questions and all of that kind of stuff listed below. And I hope you're enjoying hearing my story. And we'll see you in the next video.